All right, y'all. So real quick, I was just thinking about something. So I'm on 14 months of semen retention. Semen retention lifestyle is still in full force and still in full effect. It's been 14 months. And how am I doing? I'm doing fantastic. Loving every best decision I've ever made in my life. But I'll tell you what, so what if some of the experiences in terms of like with women, right? So one of the things I've noticed is women do not like you. Fellas, I'm gonna tell you right now, women do not like you. It's not like they don't like you, but there's it's something I can't quite think of the word, and I'm a wordsmith, but I can't think of a word right now. It's not that they don't like you. It's more like they're annoyed. You irritate them, right? You're an irritant. That's the best word I could think of. That's the experience I've gotten being on SR. Like when I do interact with women, you know, talking with them or whatever in whatever situation, like you know, like I said, I don't talk with women in any private space. I always make sure if I'm talking with a woman, it's in a public area. Never in any close quarters, because then I'm done. Superman and kryptonite, I'm gonna melt. So I gotta make, you know, I move a certain way. You got to. It's not a matter of being weak or strong. It's just you gotta understand biology, and you know you gotta understand that your body has a brain of its own, and you know your sympathetic your nervous system and all that stuff kicks in, and you know the libido, and you'll cave. So anyway, but you become an irritant. That's what I've realized with women. You become an irritant to them, because here's the thing, fellas, from the dawn of time, the one thing that a woman has over a man from the beginning of time is what's between her legs. That's a fact. If you don't know that, you're lost in the sauce, and I don't know what to tell you. But anybody who with any common sense knows that the most potent weapon, the most, you know, powerful trump card that a woman has is you know, her sexual energy. And that has been weaponized. It's been weaponized amongst men from the dawn of time. It's a fact. That is a fact. So once you take that off the table, once you're able to take that off the table, the conversation changes. Everything changes, fellas. And that's what I've recognized and what I've realized. Like once you remove those her bargaining chips, that's her bargaining chips. Once you remove those bargaining chips off the table, she's sitting at the poker table with a bad hand, right? She's just sitting at the poker table with a very bad hand. Like she has no, her hand is done. You see what I'm saying? And that's what I realized. Like my interactions, because interacting with females, I don't interact with them with any kind of sexual energy, and they could sense that. They could sense that, because everything is energy, right? And like I said, your body has your CNS, and your CNS has on the end of your CNS is your central nervous system, which consists of just the vagus nerve, the autonomic nervous system, the parasympathetic nervous system, sympathetic nervous system. So all these nerve cells all have something called dendrites, and dendrites, think of a house and think of the satellite, or think of the antennas. There you go. That's a perfect term. Dendrites are the antennas on the edge of your cells. So all your cells have dendrites, and if you Google it, you'll see the dendrites are what the antenna is to the house. Dendrites to your cells are what an antenna is to the house, and an antenna is what allows your house to, your TV to get to pick up broadcastings and frequencies and get, tune you into certain stations. So it's the same thing. So what that means is that when we interact with women, our sexual energy, because it's always there, no matter what. Feminine and masculine energy always have a sexual component that's always present anytime you interact with a female. No matter where you are, public or private, doesn't matter the setting, it doesn't matter the context, romantic, non-romantic, that energy is always there. And why that's important is because your cells are constantly communicating by means of the dendrites, which are the antennas that picks up non-verbal communication, right? So there's cues that we send out to each other, and consciously you might not be aware of it, but your body is. Your body is aware of what's being communicated, what's being said under your conscious awareness. So a woman will communicate with you from a sexual level, and you might pick up on it, you might not. Depends. It all depends. But the communication is always there. So being on SR for this long, right, and not just being on SR, but practicing certain other disciplines that I practice, it's allowed me to, when I communicate with a woman, I make sure that that sexual energy is not being, I'm conscious of it, put it like that. And how being conscious of it changes it. Why? If you study, Google what's called observer effect, and the observer effect is a scientific experiment, research, and proven data that states anytime an electron or light is being observed, it changes its behavior. So anytime you observe something, and observation means becomes aware of and conscious of, not just observe through your physical natural sight, but through your third eye, your pineal. Once you become conscious and aware of something, you change that thing because of the scientific studies and research that's proven the observer effect. It's called the observer effect. Google it. So because I'm aware of the sexual energy, and I've been working on that component by means of SR and other disciplines, when I interact with a female, I'm aware that that energy changes because of my conscious awareness. I become the conscious observer. So it changes, and I don't have to do anything to change it other than be aware of it. That's the beauty of how the observer effect works. Once you're consciously observing it, meaning aware of it, it changes it. So so when I talk with a woman, it's different. You know what I'm saying? And they can't figure it out. They don't really understand it, right? They know something is different because our cells are not communicating the same way. You see what I'm saying? This is now on a cellular level. And that's by the way, side note, just a little fun fact. That's why your cell phone is called a cell phone. Because your cell phone allows you to do what? To communicate, right? Your cell phone allows you to communicate with other people. So think of like a population of 3 million people, and all 3 million individuals, all of that population, everybody has a cell phone, and they're all scattered out. 3 million people scattered out, and those cell phones allow them to do what? To communicate. And the communication is just a transfer of information. So your body, your cell phone is named after the cells in your body. That's why cell phone is named after cells in your body. Cell phone. Same exact, you see what I'm saying? As within, so without, right? And what's interesting, a fun fact why I brought that up, is because this is the same, your cell phone does the same thing your biological cells does. That's what I mean by that. Your cells communicate. And again, they use dendrites, which are the antennas. Just like your phone has a built-in antenna. Everybody's phone has a built-in antenna. So your cells have antennas, which are called dendrites. So when you interact with anybody, male or female, but the only difference is when you're interacting with a female, again, because of the estrogen or estradiol, which is the sexual energy, and it in terms of its vibratory nature, it's counterclockwise to us, to male, which is our testosterone. Our testosterone vibratory energy is clockwise, right? A female estradiol, estrogen, sexual energy is counterclockwise. So therefore you have, in terms of, now we're going into what's called quantum physics, and in terms of chemistry, it's called spin. If you Google it, you'll find out. Spin in chemistry means just that. Counterclockwise and clockwise in terms of our sexual energy. So a woman's feminine energy is counterclockwise to the male masculine energy, and that's why opposites do what? Attract. That's why we attract, because of our energies is vibratory spin, which is chemistry when you study the periodic table and all that stuff. So we attract because we have a counterclockwise, opposite spin in terms of our energy. So that's how you come. You know, that's how, like I said, your cells in your body communicate, and you transfer information, sexual energy. But when you become aware of that by practicing certain disciplines like SR, semen retention, and monk mode, and all that good stuff, you change that. And what I realize is that women are very irritable. They get irritable because they realize they can't control you. Because men are controlled by the power of what's between a woman's legs. That's what controls men, right? And I'm talking generally here, very general, very broadly speaking. There are exceptions to every rule, but generally and broadly speaking, men are controlled by what's between a woman's legs. And when you become aware of that and you mature, right? Because it's maturation. It's all about maturation. Once there's a certain level of maturity and you take that power back, or better yet, harness that power by harnessing your own sexual energies, keeping it in check, utilizing it in other areas of your life for productivity and creativity, they become very irritable, fellas, because there's no more manipulating you. There's no more controlling you. And it's not that you are, it's not that you're trying to manipulate or control them either. The truth is, it's all about self-preservation. It's about you controlling yourself. That's what it really boils down to. You finally taking control of yourself. All right, peace.